Hi there, and welcome to Real Talk with Angry Soccer Mom. Happy to have people here. Facebook has been a mess today. It's been kind of a pain in the bottom, so I'm hoping people might come this way. I don't know, maybe not. But if you're here, say hi, and I'm going to get started. What a week it has been. It's so strange. Anyway, this week's discussion topics, as usual, are anything you feel is newsworthy about racism, bigotry, and inequality in America. And again, that's pretty much everything. So whatever you want to talk about, go for it. If you're here, say hi. Don't be shy. Please don't be shy with me. This show is meant to be an opportunity for viewers to speak their mind and also to serve as an educational tool for white people to learn the truth about our system of, systemic racism in America and to get educated. Before we get started, I wanted to introduce myself. If there are people watching that maybe have never met me before, I am Angry Soccer Mom. More angry. A lot of people think I'm guilty. They think I feel guilty and that's why I do this, but I don't feel guilty. I feel angry. They're confused. So I'm angry. I don't want to live in a world like this. And I don't want to see my Lakeisha. Hello. Thanks for being here. What a crazy day with Facebook. I hope it didn't impact you at all. I don't want to. We live in a nation that boasts liberty and justice for all. So Talmar, hello. Thank you so much for being here. Feel free to jump in anytime. I have a crazy agenda today, and anything you guys want to talk about, I am up for. I want to introduce myself really fast. People don't know me. I am Angry Soccer Mom. I host this live show every week, and I run a bunch of online communities, including this Angry Soccer Mom YouTube channel. All my platforms center around, kitchen politics. Where are you, Lakeisha? He's coming. I just had a word. I just heard from him. He said he's hustling up just to get here. Hi, Neil. Thank you so much for being here. It was a really crazy day getting ready for the show because there's so much going on, and I heard about some insane things happening. So, of course, I wanted to say something about it. Anton, hello. And, of course, your opening line. Gotcha. Thank you for being here. Where was I? The goal, now don't laugh because I really mean this. Okay, and it's hard to keep a straight face sometimes when I say this. One of the goals of the show is to help white people come to a more factual, historical, stop laughing, and logical understanding of American culture instead of a fear-based, emotional one driven by stereotypes and propaganda. Okay, so I'm a dreamer. What can I say? Willie, hello. Thank you for being here. And oh my gosh, I have 2 rants today while we're getting started, and jump in whenever you want because we have a lot going on this week. At first I thought there wasn't, but oh my God, things are crazy. And oh, yes. Oh, yes. That's my first topic, Lakeisha. First one. So we'll jump right in. I'll do a quick rant and then, I don't even follow pop culture, but unbelievable. And God knows how long it's been going on. Lakeisha says about the Lori Laughlin and Felicity Huffman and the college scam, unstinking believable. And these are the same people who, hello. Yay, thank you for being here. Grady 8, okay. Thank you so much for being here. We're definitely going to talk about that because these are the same people who are the first ones to, tell Black people or other people in historically marginalized groups that, you're just here because, you got in, you got lucky because of, a program or something. It's unbelievable. So we'll definitely talk about that. I have 2 rants that I hope you like, and jump in anytime in the middle of them because I do tend to rant. Today I want to talk a little bit about Don, hello. Yay, thanks for being here. I want to talk a little bit about most Americans. Okay, I'm just going to be very real here. Most Americans are about a paycheck away from financial hardship, and nobody wants to admit that, but I read the stats and it's gotten worse and worse. But our attitudes, our cultural attitudes about being poor, don't seem to reflect this. White Americans today have been indoctrinated into this greed and it's just greed stuff, and self-interest over humanism and compassion. And it's really strange. I've always believed that a society is judged, and ours will be judged harshly on how we've chosen to treat the most vulnerable people. And that includes people in prison. That includes murderers. That includes people on death row. They are our most vulnerable people. That includes the migrant children. That includes elderly, homeless people. That includes a lot of people. And personally, I think we do a horrible job. And it's embarrassing, because for such a nation that's like supposed to be so powerful and wealthy, we sure don't follow the Spider-Man mantra or whatever, Spider Boy or whatever, with great power comes greater responsibility. I just don't get it. Let me take some Lakeisha. Narcissistic personality is white people behavior towards us. Yeah, absolutely. It's almost unbelievable the way a lot of, and not everybody, but you know what? It's a system. And if you're a white person watching, it's not trying to be an insult to you. It's trying to help you understand that this is kind of what's going on. And if you're just noticing, this has been going on all the time. So if you're just noticing, you have to understand this isn't a new thing. Our country was founded on this. So great. Thanks for the great point, Lakeisha. Yeah. So that is so true, Lakeisha said, great. Yeah. I mean, we got to do our part. We're not saviors. I think we're maybe 500 years short of that. It's too late for that. But God forbid we care and support, not lead, support Black people, Indigenous people, brown people, African-American people. I mean, this nation needs to step up to the plate. We were never great. So great again. Yeah, right. That's a joke. So I will continue. So here's the thing. I see, and tell me if you think I'm off base here, but I see a lot of, Grady, we are the anti-racists. Yeah, I like to think that, but yeah. So with great power comes greater responsibility. And I don't think we even do that. Not even close. I think we're like snobs or something, despite most people in America are one paycheck away from being, not being able to pay their bills. So we'll help out a close friend. We'll help out, somebody that, if we have to, and our family, hopefully. But when we look at the homeless people, those are people who don't have homes and they are literally living on the street. A lot of people have the attitude of they should get a job, or whatever. And they might not say it, but I think a lot of white folks are thinking that. And part of the thing is, we also figure in, oh, they must have made poor choices, so we're kind of like blaming the victim. And then we'll think, well, give them some money. And then a lot of people, I've heard relatives, no offense, say, oh, if I give them money, they'll just use it on booze. I mean, you know what? How freaking judgmental is that? You don't know what that person's plight has been. You have no idea. And so what I like to do is, and it's just what I do, I like to go around my town and talk to people who have no homes and just kind of talk to them and see what's going on and learn about them. And I just want to teach my kids that these are human beings and nobody is immune to this. And if you think you are, you're in fantasy land. Yep. Grade 8, poor people being dehumanized. Absolutely. That's what we do. And it's kind of like, I don't know if it's an ego thing or if it's just, I don't know, but it seems to be the American way and it's disgusting. These are our fellow humans. Grady, you're going to get me on a rampage here. Kitchen politics. Hello. Welcome to the show. Mr. F.S. Black. Hello. I want to see if I can make this a little bit bigger. Good luck. Let me see. Last month in North Carolina, a Black man named Gary Kimber was found hanged. But of course, this hasn't gotten any news coverage. Mr. SF Black, I am appalled by how much, it's unbelievable how much doesn't get covered. And to be completely candid, the Democrats do the same damn thing. I'm not, a lot of people think you're a Democrat or something like that. Well, no, actually, I'm a humanist. I don't care what the person's affiliation is. So, but yeah, that's terrible. And right now there's so much happening. Done. It goes back to the famous Lyndon B. Johnson quote that was, the lowest white person will do anything to maintain the illusion that just by being white, they're above the highest black person. Absolutely. Yep. Done. Fantastic point. In fact, Don is going to come on and be a guest host in a week or two. So I'm very excited because he runs some amazing businesses and companies, and he is all about health. So I am thrilled to get him to come on here. I can't wait, and I'll give you a heads up. So then we look at people in historically marginalized groups. We look at them and we think, just try to fit in a little bit better. I mean, I don't know. I'm not sure if I'm not loving American culture. I think a lot of white people think that. Why don't they just try to fit in? They simply do not get it in the smallest possible way. We tell ourselves things like, my ancestors didn't own slaves. Not that many people were slaves anyway, or slavery was so long ago, or I don't see color, or I'm sure they got in on affirmative action, or black people. I've heard it all. Black people sold slaves too. I mean, they have no idea about the 100 years of living hell and still counting after supposed emancipation. The Irish are slaves too. I'm sorry, no, they weren't. Just because, chattel slavery is different, but I won't get into that. A lot of people say the Civil War wasn't about slaves or anything. Have you read the Cornerstone speech? Have you read their Constitution? Oh my God. It was the most disgusting document I've ever read. I mean, honestly, is almost hard to read. Let me see. Great. Yes, Don and Mr. Epps Black. I heard about that in the news for about a half a second. I missed it, but I was kind of busy all day. Willie, welcome. They're racist on both political sides. One is just more open about it. This is why nothing gets done. The Democrats party just panders to blacks, but never do anything. Yeah, you'd think if they did, something would be done. So I don't know how else to put it. But now I can see. But great comments. Thank you, Willie, for that. Don, nearly 75,000 black girls and women are missing across the country. Where's the media news coverage? I know. Where is it? It's unbelievable. I saw a special on that just recently. Thanks, Don. That's a great point. Our nation is amazing at showing just how much we don't care about black people. It's everywhere, and it's unbelievable. So if anyone's a new person here who's, like a white person or something, and they're trying to get all this is a lot to take, but definitely do it. So, I was just talking about how we really don't have such great morals and values. We look at criminals and we define the rest of their life by their crime. We make money off them for for-profit prisons. If that isn't sick or what? We value extreme punishment over rehabilitation. We allow prisoners for hundreds of years to have such bad psychological abuse in prison that they're incapable of integrating back into the society. And most people do get out of jail sometime. So it's unbelievable. Here's the thing. If somebody had a heart attack, we'd give them flowers and sympathy. But if a medical condition is a mental illness, oh, God forbid, we're like, it's a mental illness. Shh. We blame the victim. Most people don't even think about it as a real illness when it's absolutely a medical illness. So we had America's got some growing up to do, and it's not pretty. We're like the teenager that kind of went rogue and might not make it. That's kind of my opinion, but let me take some people. Don, do you think it's multiple people? Grady asks, is it multiple people murdering Black people for organs? Or I guess you're kind of asking, like, why? What is this? I don't know. Don's smart. He knows stuff. So anybody, just jump in and let us know if you know any more on that, because that's terrifying. That is terrifying, and it's no way to live. Great question. Thanks. Robert, the Constitution has nothing to do with Blacks. We weren't, right. We weren't, Black people weren't counted as human. I mean, that is a point that cannot be made enough. And when I tell people that I'm working with who are white, they'll say, it needs to be dismantled. This stuff needs to be dismantled because it's working just as planned. The system's not broken. I'll say it again. It's cliche. It's working just as planned. And we, the people, need to make it stop. I tell people, is this the kind of world you want to live in? I don't want my kids living in this kind of world. I want my kids living in a world where you walk by somebody and you think, what can I do for them? What can I do to help them? You know? So let me see. Kitchen politics. Neo-Nazis are infiltrating the GOP because it's already a white man's party. A Salon magazine article from March 9th, 2019. Stick it on here at the end of the show if you want. That's any resources that you have are great. Don, grade 8. Sadly, there are almost as many reasons as fingerprints. When a life is considered less, resources to solve the crime are suddenly scarce. And Don, that's a fantastic point because you see it all the time. In fact, I want to tell a quick story because that hit home a while back. Somebody I knew very, very well was lost for a few minutes. They weren't lost, but we thought they were lost. And we called, and the police in our area were like the SWAT team. Okay. They were, they asked for a description. They were like, they found this person in 5 seconds flat. I was on the road looking as well. And I kid you not, I saw 10 police cars out in 1 second flat. And I don't even know if we have that many police. And I thought to myself, I wonder if I said it was a Black girl, because it was a white person. I wonder how the reaction would have been. And that's like the sickest thing. That's sick. But it's our reality. So we have to get together and change that reality. So Grady, why? So you're probably asking Don. Sorry, Don. It's true, yet Chicago has so very much time and resources to investigate. Oh, right. They just investigated. Right. I know. It's disgusting, but it's true. Kitchen politics. Representative Omar is being persecuted. She said nothing wrong. Steve King of Republican of Iowa is an outright racist. Notice how the prospective parties are dealing with it. Pretty racist, both parties. Yeah, it's disgusting. It's disgusting. To be honest, I was shocked about how people dealt with her comment. I spent the whole day trying to figure out what I wasn't getting, only to find out that I was getting everything. So, Mr. F.S. Black, there have been many accounts of Black people being killed for their organs or being sold on the black market. I believe the film Get Out was loosely based on this. Yeah, it could be done. Talking to kitchen politics. Yes, they are ingrained at all levels. McConnell famously received an award from a high-ranking KKK member in front of a Confederate flag. That's disgusting. It's disgusting. I thank you for that information. I don't understand, and I'm done trying. I'm done trying. But, I'm naming all these things that people like to do and say and think and make excuses. They're just excuses for dehumanizing our fellow humans. We look at victims of police brutality and think, well, they should have cooperated. When people say that, it's enraging. It's like, are you kidding me? Like, what planet are you living on? Cooperation does not guarantee life, unfortunately, with the way things are going in our nation. And, a lot of the white people are so out of it. That's why I'm all about education. I'm kind of obsessed with it, because not to make us leaders, not to make us save the day, My God, you can't. I'll say it. Okay, I'm going to say it one more time, and then I'm going to go on. You wouldn't walk by a person slowly drowning in a pool because you didn't build it. Of course not. Or you didn't shove them in. Then why the hell do we walk by our neighbors, our fellow humans, and be, they probably did something to deserve that. In our heads, we might not say it, but we think it. So it's disgusting and it's inhumane. And everybody needs to, everyone who's in a majority power position of any sort, just privilege, needs to use their privilege to make this stop, in my privileged opinion. So, done. Okay, thanks for the article. Kitchen Politics, yay. Don, teenager, 16 years old, Ethan Couch of Fort Anne was at the wheel when he killed 4 people on the road and had to face prosecution. The judge, named Gene Boyd, accepted the argument of the defense counsel that the boy was suffering from a particular condition called affluenza. Oh my God, it's the double standard. It's not, it's a quadruple standard. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. And that's kind of what I wanted to talk about more tonight. You know, the wealthiest people are literally getting away with murder. I'm not talking people who work hard and earn money. And, you know, I'm talking about extreme wealth, extreme elite people who really are getting out of control in this country and probably have always been. But Trump's kind of brought it out into the, you know, kind of into the open, in my opinion, I guess. But the thing is, the wealthiest people in America like it this way. Now you might think, angry soccer mom, how would you know? Well, I know because if they didn't, it'd be different. So I know who's in charge of this nation, and it's not the people. We'd all be educated about, you know, anti-racism. All the white folks would be educated about anti-racism. Be like white supremacy would be a thing of the past. Lakeisha, no. Do I have any white friends left? Maybe, yeah. Well, I keep trying to make new ones. No, I do have a few. That's funny. Let me take some people. That's a funny question. Yeah, no, the greatest part for me was I don't know what my white friends thought, but they outed themselves, and it was in the weirdest way. Like, let's say I have and I don't, 1,000 people on my, you know, personal page or something like that. I don't know how many people I have. Well, I wrote a general thing, and I had people going, you know, F off. I had people swearing at me, going it wasn't to them. I didn't even know they were Trump supporters. So they kind of outed themselves, which is absolutely fine, but not really. Probably the answer is, let me go back. Grade 8. Don, oh yes, the affluenza defense. Why doesn't that work in reverse for people who are subjected to poverty and violence their whole lives? Great point. Because white supremacy rules the day, and elite, just total class economic elitism. Mr. F.S. Black, notice how mentally ill doesn't exist when a Black person gets in trouble. Oh, God, of course not. They're just a criminal. Unbelievable. Lakeisha, that's funny how I noticed yours, but I was like, what? Not really. But yeah. Grady says, yeah, to Mr. F.S. Black. Don says he agrees. Our government needs, you know, the corporate powers need to be in check. I mean, that's the understatement of the century. Our government, if the people really were in charge, our government wouldn't be dominated by special interests, big money. Compassion would be the norm. But this just isn't the reality of American culture. Instead of caring for our fellow humans who, by chance, have crossed our path for such a short moment in time, and we dehumanize them. That's what we do. So, and I'm not trying to be sanctimonious about this. It's just our culture really is nasty. I mean, that's all I'm trying to say. Let me take some people. Mr. F.S. Black. I remember, let me just open this up a little bit bigger. I think my vision's going downhill as we speak. Okay, now I can see. I remember hearing about a black man in Detroit who was suffering from mental illness, who was gunned down by police. And even though he had a knife, he didn't hurt anyone or threaten anyone. Yeah, that's a great point. Something that I often am wondering. I was a school teacher. I was a school teacher in Compton, California, which a long time ago, and I was a school teacher in other districts too. We're trained in de-escalation. School teachers are trained to de-escalate, okay? Shouldn't police be trained? I mean, when you look at the stats, I see what they're trained in. And I've looked at overall stats by Reuters, which is considered pretty much the gold standard, I think. And number one thing across the country, take a wild guess. What are they trained in? They're trained in shooting people. So it's a great point. It's disgusting. Robert, throughout history, every rulership came to an end. America will come to an end just like the other nations did in the past. The tides have already begun to turn. Yeah, and I don't want to go on another rant because I want this to be more interactive, but to be honest, we just don't get it. We don't get the rising tide, the rising tide. I don't know what the saying is, rising tide brings up all floatable ships or whatever it is. I mean, we just don't get it. If we provide a nice life for all of the people, crime goes down, mental health gets better. I mean, it's kind of like a system, and we just don't get it. So let me see. Grady, this is true, Kim. Michael Moore breaks it down well in his movie Fahrenheit 9/11. What's it called? 9/11. I thought it was Fahrenheit. I don't know. I'm reading it backwards. But yeah, that's a good point. I think he's amazing. And I don't really hear a lot of his stuff anymore, but I like the way he exposes things. And you don't have to agree with him, but he exposes things. And I love that. Kitchen politics. What are your thoughts on college admission scam with famous actresses? Oh, Felice. And yeah. Imagine if a black person did that. They'd get just watch. Well, guess what? My very first topic is going to be that. And we will talk. And we'll talk about it. Mr. F.S. Black, that same year, that white guy shot up the movie theater during the premiere, of Dark King Rises. Yep. Willie, Robert, exactly. We're watching it happen now. Yeah, when I read stuff, I see like trends. I'm not a really details person. Oops. But I see trends and there's scary trends going on right now. Don says to Mr. F.S. Black, yes, it's even worse than or equal or greater than. Remember the black counselor who lay down? Yes. The black counselor who lay down on the ground with his hands in the air, identifying himself as a counselor, and to the white guy, and the police shot him anyway. He was with a developmentally disabled young man, and they basically just shot him. It's insane. And I don't use that lightly because it's, kitchen politics. For what Huffman and Laughlin did is an automatic 20 years for racketeering. They're filthy rich and their mediocre kids got in because of wealth. Yeah, I watched a special on that, and today's rants are all about money, power, politics, in the American way. Oh, as long as you're white. So that's basically the theme of almost everything that I thought of coming through the news this week. The news this week spotlighted some of the wealthiest Americans who are living outside the law. And I'm talking about the ones who use their money to get away with things that are cruel. I'm not talking about buying a yacht, whatever. Buy stuff with your money. I'm talking about doing cruel things, knowing all very well that they will have zero consequences. Here's the thing. This is a little of my philosophy, my white privilege philosophy. People say that, Jamie, hello, you're no problem. I'm still renting. Thanks for being here, Jamie. People say that money corrupts, but I'm not buying it. And I don't, no pun intended. The truth is money corrupts if you're a corrupt person. Okay. And that is, you can fight me on that, but that's what I think. I guess my point is that the white masses seem to look up to the wealthiest white folks, like in amazement. They're these role models of greatness. Well, I'm sorry, but that's not working for me. Stevie, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for being here. I'm just talking about really, really, really wealthy people who think they're above the law. I'm sorry. I want to ask a very, very, very ultra wealthy person who's a billionaire or a millionaire or whatever. I want to ask them, I don't care how much money they make. I want to know what they're doing with their accumulated money to help society. I don't think someone who's wealthy is a great person because, oh, that's so cool. It's a lot of luck, guys. I mean, I think we all know that. Don, money makes you more of whatever you actually already are inside. Good point. Yep. Great point. That's a really good point. America's lust for money has shaped our values and blinded us to what really matters. I'm just here to say that being ultra wealthy doesn't make you wise. It doesn't make you humane, and it doesn't make you a person worth unbridled respect. And it's preaching to the choir because I know you guys know that. But I think a lot of people, I mean, when I did the interview with the Trump supporters early on, I did a video on my YouTube channel, and it was just a kind of last second, I just kind of went for it. And they were literally in awe of Trump. They loved him. Remember, they said, oh, he's going to give his salary to the people. I'm like, okay. I didn't go there to humiliate them. I went there for information, but all I got was, not good. But anyway, so the list of topics today is kind of short that I have. So feel free to talk about anything you want. But the first one is the university scandal. The cheating scandal. We can also talk about the possibility of reopening the Jeff Epstein case, which connects Trump, Epstein, Clinton, and a number of very, very high-powered people. And his files are sealed because he got away with it. And for those of you who aren't sure exactly what I'm talking about, I'm going to take the liberty of going through. Grady, thank you for being here. Thank you so much. I am thrilled you came. Thank you. You're awesome. You're so supportive. I love it. And you have great comments. Good night. And let me see. Neil, as sick as it sounds, racism is like cannibalism, in my opinion. Oh, geez, you're going to make me read this. White people are destroying Black people and people of color by killing them and selling their body parts. This is just an example. God, I don't. Ugh. That is gross. Anton, money is a tool of control. The government's sole purpose is to maintain the wealth of the wealthy. Absolutely. Absolutely. Excellent. It's true. That's what they do. And that's why sometimes I wonder if anything's ever going to stop this, because to be honest with you, they aren't going to let go of their power. They're not just going to let it go. I mean, you know they're not. So, Mr. F.S. Black, a lot of these famous wealthy people and families initially got rich illegally. Yeah, I believe it. I don't know. As the saying goes, behind every great fortune is a great crime. The bigger fortune, the bigger crime. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know about that, but I wouldn't put it past. It seems like things were kind of easy to get away with, especially to take advantage of Black people and Indigenous people and brown people. And I mean, there were crimes that for every one crime we know of, there's probably literally thousands. And I truly mean that after what I've been reading. I believe it. Thousands and thousands per one that haven't been, it's not news to you guys, but I mean, it's unbelievable. That's why I want white folks to get this, that they're living in a completely fabricated, I would say reality, but it's a fantasy. And I'm really happy for them. But you see, that's not how to be human. that's just not right. So Don, Trump gives up his salary because accepting it makes him susceptible to government audits. It has nothing to do with him being altruistic in any way. Yeah, I believe that too. The crazy part, Don, was that these people were absolutely, I'm talking like, he's so nice. I'm like, lady, you're going to get like a 1 billionth of a cent. Do you not get this? He doesn't even, like, $100,000 is nothing to him. And that's, it was just so weird. I can't even explain it. And I was kind of scared at the time because I thought they had to, forget it. I thought they might be like carrying weapons because up where I live, long story. So I had to kind of watch. I didn't even get to ask the good questions. What I really wanted to know was about racism. But anyway, great point, Don. Lakeisha, beautiful is without a conscious, and people going around thinking everything and those around them are beautiful. The problem is they don't have an ounce of humanitarian decency. A beautiful face, no soul. Yeah, it's all superficial. It's like, what's that word? It's so superficial, really, really superficial. And it's kind of what we do. It's just kind of what we do. So great points. So the university scandal, reopening the Jeff Epstein case possibly, and the ramifications for Trump, and some information I read about that I want to know what you guys think. So, and then Trump's budget if we get to it. So I want to talk about this, and feel free to give your opinion about this. All right, tell me what you think. This week's FBI caught a number of wealthy families and celebrities. And this is for people who, haven't been able to keep up with it or whatever, for whatever reason. And celebrities bribing colleges, Ivy League colleges and others, to allow their kids to attend. The crimes included cheating on entrance exams, bribing college officials to say that certain students, this is insane, as I played college tennis, and so this is like insane, bribing college officials to say certain students were high-level athletes so that they could come in and, like, they didn't even play the sport. Like, that's just insane. I don't know what to say. Let me see. Jackie, you got your stuff held, or you deleted your message. I'm not sure. Lisa, hello. Trump is Teflon. Thanks for being here, Lisa. Don, the 7 deadly sins. Trump abuses every single one of them. They are pride, greed, lust, envy, gluttony, wrath, and sloth. Oh, I didn't know that one. But yeah, no, I mean, I've said it a bunch of times. Trump encompasses, it's like almost amazing if it weren't so bad. All that is, like, every character flaw in the human psyche. I don't know how. Well, I kind of do, but I don't. I've already diagnosed him. But anyway, yeah, he really is a very bad man, and that people don't seem to get this after the hundreds and hundreds of things he's done. It just leads me to my theory. They had him at racism. They found it racist. They found out he was an amazing racist, and that was it. So that was it. So I don't know, it's so frustrating. But so they cheated on entrance exams. They bribed the college, people. Sloth, lazy. Yeah, I knew what sloth was, but I never heard it put that way. Maybe I've heard it lazy. Thanks, Don. They say he doesn't start. Oh yeah, I saw his schedule. Remember, we all saw his schedule. Yeah, his schedule's, he's not putting in too much work, but Neil, I'm pretty sick of our white privilege. I'm pretty sick of your white privilege nonsense. Yeah, and it has nothing to do with genocide. It's wrong for him to get off that easy, but the legal system is a joke here. He's white and he got no jail. Neil, I think I know what you're referring to. Tell everybody what you're referring to. I think people will want to hear. Lisa, Trump's a branch of deeper-seated root. You have good sayings, Lisa. Neil, he was white and attacked a woman. Tell us more so people know what you're talking about, because that's Robert. The wealthy got to be wealthy through slavery. Did you know the first commodity on Wall Street was slaves? The major insurance companies became what they are today by having slaves as collateral fact. Yes, I studied that. Actually, I read an article about 2 weeks ago on that, and I was basically throwing up reading it. Sorry to be graphic here, but yeah. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And insurance. Wasn't there like insurance? I mean, there's just, this nation has whitewashed the history to make it just so beautiful, and it's disgusting. The level of just zero knowledge of most white Americans as to the first, I guess, the 100 years after emancipation, supposed, is, that's why I'm doing 2 videos on that, because people have no idea. They thought, woohoo, everyone, I mean, white folks just don't get it. So yeah, that's kitchen. Did I miss somebody? Kitchen politics. No, Trump is Velcro. If Mueller doesn't get him, the Southern District of New York Attorney's Office will. Got a little excited there, you know. But Neil, this was a response I got when I posted that a white man had attacked a woman and he got no jail time. Thank you, Neil. Yeah, Neil's been really getting it from some, and that was a white woman, right? That was saying, I'm sick of your white, isn't that right? I don't want to misrepresent you, but yeah, people, like I always say, we have the internet, we have plenty of people around us. Willful ignorance is a choice. And at first, when I, about like 10 years ago, I'd be like, well, maybe they just don't get, I was one of those. And 10 years later, I kind of, and it's just because I'm kind of like mild-mannered, except when I'm on the show. But I'm mild-mannered, and I think, well, I'm a teacher. What can I say? I go, we'll just teach them. But then, like, they don't want to learn. And then reality kind of hit me about 10 years ago. Like, yeah. So Lisa says, let's hope so, kitchen politics. And Neil, yeah, she was a white woman. Thanks. Yeah. So check this out. I don't know how much you guys know about this case, but I studied a little bit in depth today, just a little bit. And this stuff was like, talk about criminal. In one particular case, this Lori Loughlin, remember, I don't follow pop culture, so I kind of know who she is. She's an actress. She and her husband paid $500,000 to bribe school officials to get their, I guess, 2 daughters into USC. And so far, none of the kids have been charged with anything. I think they basically didn't know, as far as what I've read. But as poetic justice would have it, the Lori Loughlin's daughter had recently just put out a video on social media, and I'm pretty sure it's gone viral. And it happened to be, I mean, what a coincidence, her talking about her feelings about school and education, and about her going to USC, I believe that's what she was referring to. And the tape is probably viral, and her words painted a picture of a young woman who really doesn't care about school too much. And it was crazy talk, just crazy talk. And she said she planned to go in and talk to the deans immediately when she got there and let them know that she'll be going to Fiji the first week of school for work, and that she'd also be traveling to a number of different countries throughout the year. So she really didn't know how much, and this is a quote, I'm not messing with you guys. She really didn't know how much time she'd be spending there, but she really wanted the experience of the game day and the partying. She was actually, I'm not trying to bag on this kid. I mean, she's a product of her environment, but she was kind of self-actualized. She said to her viewers that she was talking to, I don't really care about school. You all know that. I mean, it was like, wow. And this came out right along with, boy, her parents doing this. Lisa, Loughlin's husband never went to college, and she wanted them to go to the best. It's kind of interesting because that must have been I'd like to be I mean, I'm not trying to be, rude, but I know a lot about, rich, privileged teenagers, and You don't have to raise your kids like that. It's a choice. I know some incredibly wealthy people who they don't play that game. So, I mean, this is a choice. It's morals and values, and I'm not trying to be rude, but it's a choice. And Lisa, the privileged teen and brain is not formed yet. Definitely. And I'm not blaming the kid by any means. I mean, you can't choose your parents. We all know that. But man, did she kind of bring it to full circle when she came on and going, I don't even give a shit about school. And again, a lot of kids have that attitude, but her Fiji trips, and it was just like, oh my God, how embarrassing. Lisa, the biggest issue is that we put so much value on the best of everything as if it means something. Yeah, it's something I've had to really undo with my own kids, is two things. One is, great point, Lisa. There's always someone better, okay? And who says best is the way you define it? I mean, a lot of people don't value personal integrity. Well, what if you're the best, most personally integrated person in the world? That's an incredible thing, but you'll get no money for it. So, I mean, the things we value and the things we point out, I mean, there's thousands of ways to be amazing and the best. And it doesn't always have to be what our society says is great. I mean, remember, we're the society that slavery was legal. And it was legal and it was the law. We really need to just take a couple slices of humble pie, maybe like the whole pie or maybe 10. We have, it's bad. But great point. Robert, Blacks become lazy when they stop working for free. But the truth is that every major invention was, that's your opinion, Robert, right? And every major invention was invented by Blacks. So let's start with the traffic light. We can't do without it, and there are many more. Yeah, and I have actually never heard that opinion from anyone before. So can you, just for the people who might be listening, can you, and maybe not here today, can you expand on that? Because I'm actually kind of surprised that you said that. It's absolutely your opinion, and I respect that, but isn't that, and I'm not trying to get into it with you, but isn't that kind of blaming the victim? I mean, we've only made them, and this isn't, I'm not trying to down you, but I mean, we've only done redlining, I mean, sundown towns, I mean, it's like, what else? I just don't know how much more people can take and from one country, but I don't know. Maybe expand on that if you can. And again, I'm not trying to call you out. It's just, that's a little bit interesting. I've never heard it before. Neil, we might not have peanut butter if it weren't for a black man. Well, that is huge because I love peanut butter. But so I'm going to keep going, jump in whenever you want. So I'm not trying to come down on this kid. It just happened to come out at the time. But talk about a discrepancy. This kid who's going to Fiji and this and that, and might not really be in the school that her mom and dad just bought her, which clearly she's probably not going now. I'm guessing, just a little bit of a, guess. But some brilliant kid from a low-income family might have wanted that scholarship and to reach their full potential. Now they're not going to reach their full potential unless they get another one. There's only a certain amount of slots in those, supposed good schools. But, this person didn't appreciate it, it is what it is. But the point is, these bribes take up space for kids who actually earned their way into prestigious schools and who worked extremely hard to better themselves, no matter, white or black or anything else. And I can't imagine how long this has been going. I mean, they're discovering it now. Can you imagine how long this has been going? This is probably just icing on the cake. Let me take some. Don, The patent was stolen from Dr. George Washington Carver, the peanut butter story. Mr. Carver died a pauper, but should have been rich from that patent alone. Yeah. Oh, Don, the crimes, just little things, big things. I can't imagine. When I said for every crime you think you know, I bet there's thousands more that never got over. Oh my God. Kitchen politics. Newsbreak, Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, etc. were down because they were all hacked. Is that right? Facebook on Twitter moments ago. Really? I knew something was going on. I think a lot of people did. Yeah, I don't know. I guess we're going to hear about it. Thank you for that report, Kitchen Politics. Lisa, a lawyer friend of mine is thinking of starting a class action suit against the school to force the opportunity for students who didn't get accepted. Love it. Love it. And these are the people who got caught, right, Lisa? These are the people who got caught. And, it's kind of interesting. I can't imagine how long this has been going on, but think about Trump, okay? I hate to bring him into this, but think about Trump and how he's desperately trying to make sure that nobody sees his grades. That's huge. I mean, that is huge. He doesn't want people to see his grades because we've seen his abilities, and it's not pretty. And let me tell you, I'm no grammar Nazi, but I'm the first one to make mistakes like that. But Trump is always saying how smart he is, and obviously because of his narcissism, but I bet he did terribly. I mean, him have to actually work. I can't see him working very hard. I don't know about you guys. Lakeisha, they're going back to find out who's done this. Yeah, definitely. The truth about America is that the ultra wealthy in general rarely get arrested and taken in and charged for crimes. And it might seem not as obvious now because of the gazillions of Trump's hires that have been taken in, indicted, and going to prison and whatnot. But in general, they have money to bail them out. They have the best attorneys. They have money to get an image consultant to sway public opinion. And they have economic and white privilege that really puts them above the law. I heard it summed up in an amazing way once, and this has stuck with me forever. I heard it was brilliant. I don't remember who said it though, but when they were asked why they opposed capital punishment, the death penalty, they said, the day an ultra wealthy American is put to death, I'll let you know. And that's just, wow. It's facts. Money buys you, puts you above the law. And it's disgusting and it's sick. The bottom line is that even before this college scandal, students who were Black, Indigenous, heck, I remember boys looking at a college where the police got called on them a while back. People in historically marginalized groups who are economically disadvantaged and have to work incredibly hard to get into the best schools. And they're often in school districts that don't have the funding. And our funding system is so unfair. And they're the people who get told, you just made it here because of affirmative action. When the fact is they worked their butt off to get there and they excelled and they deserve to make it in. But, it's like they get it both ways. So now we have people cheating the system and saying you just got in to people who are Black or, people in the historically marginalized group. It's disgusting. Let me shut up now for a moment, if that's possible. Don, Elijah McCoy invented the oil drip pan used by virtually every motor vehicle on the planet. When they found out it was a Black inventor, they walked away and made non-working fakes. Oh my God. These are crimes that we need to be studying. We need to know these things. Thanks, Don. That's huge. This is where the expression "the real McCoy" came from. Wow. I'm going to use that in a video. I did not know that. Thank you so much. Neil, let me just scroll down. Alcorn George Edwards Jr. in 1940, physicist inventor, invented a method of fabricating an imaging X-ray spectrometer, another one of many Black inventors. I mean, this is the really amazing thing. When you think of Black people and all that we've done as white people to try to stop them from being successful, yet they succeed in incredible ways. I think it's amazing. It's amazing. It's amazing. And it shouldn't be the way it is. And that's why I want to educate white folks. Again, not because they can leave, not because they should get attention, but my God, you can't just watch this and pretend you don't see it. I don't get it. But anyway, Don, it wasn't until the turn of the 19th to 20th century that it was legal for a Black person to own a patent. Wow. Sometimes when we find out stuff like that, Don, it's shocking. It's shocking to actually fathom that a Black person could not testify. A Black person could, I mean, the things, if you really study it in depth as a white person, it's going to be a journey. It's going to be a lifelong journey because we'll never quite get it. But Robert, for example, Jack Daniel's whiskey, they finally told the truth about who made it. Nearest Green, the man who taught Jack Daniels about whiskey, and Jack Daniels is his recipe. The whites never lifted a finger. Yeah, there's been, I feel like, and I always say this during the show, that it's a crime against humanity. Not obviously enslaving a human being is. I'm talking about systemic racism. It's an ongoing crime against humanity, impacting every single part of the life of a person who's Black or in other historically marginalized groups. And the reason I name Black people and African-American people and brown people is because our nation seems to have some hatred, a special hatred for Black people. And I don't get it. I mean, if anything, I don't know, reparations. People ask me if I believe in reparations. I'm like, are you kidding me? Of course. But anyway, thank you, Robert. That's great history. And Don, awesome history. And Neil, everybody, thank you so much. I love that you provide this information. Neil says, Don, you are so right. Thanks for reminding us of that. Yeah. So here's the thing. This whole thing about the colleges and the Ivy League, hearing about it, it's just another inequality in America. It's upsetting, but in my opinion, it's not shocking. The things I've learned and the things I've heard in the last 10, 15, 20 years, I don't know if anything will shock me. And it's pretty bad. Here's the thing. I studied this when I was reading the stuff about the white folks buying their way or their kids into colleges and whatnot. Studies, I remember a study that I looked over, and it was fascinating to me. Studies consistently show that students are more likely to graduate if their parents are rich from college. Now, if you think about that, I'm like, I'm talking about students who aren't doing well, who aren't really great students. The studies showed consistently that the number one factor for determining if someone's going to graduate was how rich their parents were. That was it. They compared extremely brilliant Black kids. Leslie, hello, welcome. Thank you for being here. Happy you're here. They compared really, really brilliant Black kids whose parents were very, very poor, and across the board, the people who were, I don't want to say dumb, but they were not very academic, and maybe they even did IQs. I can't remember if they did IQs, but which again isn't a great measure, but it's, and the brilliant but economically disadvantaged children who were in college had a less chance of graduating college than the dumb ones, I don't want to say that, than the less academically inclined who had rich parents. And the spread was unbelievable. I'm not talking like a kid who's like a BA student and then like a brilliant kid who's black. I'm talking like a kid who pretty much barely passed high school. I found that to be disgusting. I really did, because I guess we live in a nation that values being wealthy. I mean, basically, I get what I'm trying to say is that in our nation, the best indicator as to whether you're going to graduate from college isn't how smart you are, isn't how hardworking you are, or how honest you are, or how much integrity you have. It's how rich your parents are. That's disgusting. So anyway, that's my take, and I'm sticking to it. But that's sad. That's a really sad. That is the basis for a lot of economic opportunity programs in colleges because of that study. So, I mean, that's a good thing. But Full House star Lori Loughlin released a $1 million bond following arrest in the college admissions scandal. What if this was a black person or a person of color, or what would be the outcome? Great question. And I'd like to pose that to everybody. I mean, we all know they'd be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law and then some. It's really sad. So I wanted to start and jump in about this scandal. It's just ridiculous. Anytime you want, if you have more things to say. But I wanted to start talking about the Epstein, Trump, Clinton pedophile thing that's going on. I don't know if you guys are following this or not. Mr. F.S. Black. As Chris Rock once said, a black C student can't even be the manager of McDonald's, yet a white C student is the president of the United States. You are giving him a lot of credit. C student, you're very kind. Sorry. Academic snobbery. No, I mean, he's unbelievable. Yep, great point. Kitchen politics. Beto O'Rourke has announced his candidacy for presidency. 2020. You know, I was starting to follow him, and I know it's just something I missed, but somebody said something that he did, and I don't want to start rumors, but I have to look him up. I haven't gone back and done that, but I was all about him, and then somebody pointed out something, and I can't remember what it was, so I'm not going to say, but this Epstein thing, I'll just get started, and hopefully you guys know a little bit about this and want to jump in. The next topic is the case of Jeffrey Epstein. If you recall, he's the guy that Trump was partying with the day that Trump was accused of raping a 13-year-old girl. And I'll get back to Trump's case and his involvement. But here's a brief rundown on why Trump's buddy, Epstein, is in the news again this week. And I didn't know. It's disgusting. Anton, Kim, since 90% of all of white people came to this country after slavery, do you ever get negative reactions from those people when you try to tell them the real? Oh, yes, I get all the time. Let me see. This is what I get. Oh, my ancestors weren't even here then. Like, well, you still benefit from the free labor, because human beings being forced into a status of slavery. They built our nation. They made our nation wealthy and rich, and it was not by accident. The people who started our founding fathers, they knew exactly what they were doing, and we benefit today from their slave labor and their torture. And so I don't care if you came here yesterday. If you're a white person, you benefit. Yeah, exactly. Great point, Anton. Yes, all the time. They always do, and they have all the excuses. There weren't that many slaves. Actually, really early on, I named like about 5 or 6 of them. You name it. They're classic cliche excuses to deny racism, and they're disgusting. And yeah, and there's only like 30 of them, and you never hear anything new. It's really sad. But yeah, great point. Yep. Yes. The answer is yes. Robert, the hatred for blacks is the greatest secret of the world. And the secret is that they are the true Jews, not the fake Jews in Israel. Blacks are the true people of the Bible. I know it's hard to swallow. Yeah, that's a lot of people are starting to get that now, and a lot of Black people are starting to understand all this. We're still in our infancy with the truth. I guess that's just my white privilege take. Just like with mental health, we're in the infancy. We know nothing. Our true history, we're in its infancy. We're going to figure out things that are mind-blowing, just absolutely mind-blowing. Kitchen politics. Jeff Epstein is worth $2 billion. He will be acquitted, sorry to say. Yeah. Well, probably, but the stuff I heard today, a federal court of appeals in New York on Monday took the first steps in unsealing the documents that would reveal the possible, or really does seem like he did this, international sex trafficking operation run by the multi-millionaire, I guess he's a billionaire, multi-billionaire, Jeff Epstein. Jeff Epstein is, for people who don't know who that is, probably I'm the only one. Jeff Epstein is a wealthy American who in June of 2008 received what has been called the most lenient plea deal for any serial sex offender in the history of the United States. Okay. So let me say it for the people in the back. This billionaire received what many experts believe was the most lenient plea deal ever given to a serial sex offender in the history of our nation. And it's disgusting. The following is the story of how he made this great deal. And again, tonight's I'm kind of stressing how wealthy people seem to be above the law in our nation. The Miami Herald identified 60 of the victims, Epstein's victims, who were in middle school and high school. They were children. That was his age that he liked. There are 11-year-olds in middle school, just to like throw that out there for people who don't have kids or don't, their kids are way older. The girls Epstein recruited were young girls, and it was very purposeful. They had rough lives. He knew they'd have no means. He used money to entice them. And he would ask for a back rub, and then he would take it from there. And he'd say, here's $200. And, young, easily impressionable girls who are having a rough time. Then he started paying the girls and I'm just kind of giving some background here, paying the girls to get other girls and creating a network where girls were working for him as recruiters for young girls. And according to one of the attorneys that I watched, the sheer volume and frequency of the underage girls that Epstein required was like astronomical. I mean, it sounds like he did this to thousands of girls. I mean, over years. Yes, Don. Epstein coerced at least 80 girls to give massages and perform sexual acts on him and others as part of an international sex ring, which he ran out of his Palm Beach mansion and abroad. Yeah, exactly. And I guess supposedly he has like this, he ran it out of his New York City. This is what the people were saying. The New York City, New Mexico, and his private island in the Caribbean. So he had some sort of, it sounds like an addiction or something. Exactly, Don, that's consistent with what I read. A former Miami police detective said that Epstein also had girls from a former Eastern Bloc nation brought over as sex slaves. And but here's the craziest thing. Kitchen politics. Epstein's private plane was called the Lolita Express. Young girls as young as 10 were on this plane. Ugh. Chris Tucker, Bill Clinton, Kevin Spacey, Donald Trump, etc. all hung with him often. Yeah. In fact, if you remember, Trump is accused of raping. I saw her testimony too. Oh my God. A 13-year-old who had never had sex before. And it was disgusting. And I'll talk to you later. I have the whole wrap up, but I mean, We got some serious sick stuff going on. So basically, there's overwhelming evidence that hundreds and hundreds of rapes and sexual assaults occurred to the minors at the hands of Epstein, yet he was not held accountable for them. And for those of you who don't know the details of this case, if you compare this man to one single case of anyone who's not a billionaire, they'd be in prison for life. So how did something like this happen? How exactly could something like this happen when there was ample evidence? I was watching the lawyers talk, ample evidence, records, physical evidence, testimonies, tons and tons. Yep, it's all about the money. Yep. So despite the overwhelming evidence, Barry Krischer was the Palm Beach state attorney. He decided he was going to charge Epstein with a misdemeanor. How convenient. The attorney for the girls realized this, and they knew there was nothing they could do, so they went to took the case directly to the FBI. And after that, even more girls were discovered. According to one attorney, Epstein hired someone to convince the state attorney to drop the investigation. And basically, the U.S. Attorney's Office got involved and ended up going against Epstein's very, very powerful, well-known team. And this is all connected to Trump and his administration. The consensus is, and I don't know, is that these attorneys were able to manipulate the sitting U.S. attorney and the assistant U.S. attorney into working the case and basically worked him over. One attorney for the girls said they'd never seen anything like it in their entire lives. He said that the attorneys there had an indictment, and they were sending the indictment back to Epstein's attorneys so they could make changes and send it back to them. It was as if the defendant and the government were working together against the victims. I mean, this is insane. Prince Andrew, kitchen politics. Prince Andrew of the royal family of Britain is snagged in this as well. Ooh, he was accused of having sex with a 12-year-old. Oh my God. Yeah, there's the list of the rich and famous. Apparently, pedophilia is like a bigger thing than anyone. Oh my God. So sad, so cruel, just so sick. And the most vulnerable victims. And can you imagine him doing this to you and then him getting away with it? So the lawyer, the attorney for the girls said that, at the time he remembers thinking, how could this happen? How could this be? It's like a conspiracy theory, but it sounded so preposterous that he didn't want to believe it. But a subsequent FBI investigation found a network of victims, hundreds and hundreds, enough sex crimes to fill a 53-page indictment with several sex crime charges. But the Miami U.S. attorney, Alexander Acosta, signed off on a secret plea bargain while deliberately not informing the girls. He signed a secret plea bargain, and that plea bargain was a joke. Anastasia, hi! I'm so happy you're here. No problem. That's awesome you're here. I'm blabbing on. We're talking about wealthy people getting away with crimes. Basically, they're getting away with murder. I mean, it's so the deal granted Epstein immunity from federal prosecution. Unstinking believable. And don't worry, we're getting to where it connects Trump and all that. Epstein pleaded guilty in court to 2 prostitution charges and served 13 months. But guess what his serving was? His punishment was a little different than the other sex offenders in Florida. Probably different than anybody. He got to go in this private, vacant space of a wing of the county stockade, but records show that he spent very limited time there. Okay? He was allowed to go to his private West Palm Beach home office where he'd spend up to 12 hours, 6 days a week. And this is according to the FBI. And often accepting female visitors and friends. I mean, that's a joke. It's a joke. Politics, kitchen politics. January 15th, lawsuit brought on by Virginia Roberts accused Alan Dershowitz, Prince Andrew, and Epstein himself ran a train on her in the Lolita Express, and she was yeah. I mean, this is going to be something that, talk about a scandal. Wealthy people are above the law, and it's disgusting. Anastasia, it's better to be guilty and rich than poor. Absolutely. Great point. I mean, welcome to America, where if you're rich, you can get away with murder and the rape of young girls. These were young girls. Virginia Roberts is now 35 now and scared for her life. Yeah. These people are powerful and they do bad things. I mean, you got to wonder where all these television shows, it's like they're realistic or something. So he was allowed to go to his private West Palm Beach office and hang out with girls. What Epstein pleaded to was a joke. And the sentence he served was even a bigger joke. The government did this. They made a deal to end the victim's rights. I'll say it again. The government made a deal to end the victim's rights so there'd be no chance of prosecution. And I don't even know how they do that. I'm not an attorney. That sounds insane. And Acosta, Michael, raise your hand if you know what he's doing right now. He's the person who made sure, and people say, Anastasia, and people say white male privilege doesn't exist. Oh my God. What he did to probably thousands, definitely hundreds, but probably thousands of young girls with absolutely Zippo consequences. Acosta is now Trump's Secretary of Labor. I don't know if he's been fired yet because he fires everybody, but is he still the Secretary of Labor? And he's never explained why the sealed details of Epstein's plea, he's never explained it. And so nobody really knows the scope of his crimes and who involved. He made a sealed deal. This guy who is in our government right now, hired by Trump. And does anyone else think to themselves, think about this. And I'm not into conspiracy theories, but check this out. Does anyone ever wonder if Trump knows Acosta knows something and has something on him? And that's why he put him in this position. I mean, I don't know what the relationship was prior to this, but you got to remember, Trump was at a lot of his parties. The person who accused Trump, the 13-year-old girl, who's now a woman, accused, and had the lawsuit against him well before he was president. She was at Epstein's party with Trump. And oh my God, I heard the testimony. It was brutal what they did to her. Brutal. And Anastasia, it's crazy how people talk about Sharia law and how women are treated in the Middle East, but we do the same crap here, right? We just call it something else. Right. Oh, absolutely. That's a fantastic point. It's a fantastic point. America loves to talk about white America loves to talk about how, these other countries are just awful. They take bribes. What the hell do you think we're doing? We just call it something different. Lobbying. This man paid his way, the U.S. attorney, district attorney. That's insane. Great point. Years later, he said that Epstein hired, a lot of things are still coming out, hired an army of legal superstars who basically launched an assault on the prosecutors, and they couldn't get anything done. So yeah, I'm just not buying it. They tried to spin it that at least he had to sign up as a registered sex offender. He did this to probably thousands of people. And there was evidence, notes. They didn't even try to hide it. They showed notes. They showed proof. I mean, It is unbelievable. So there is no agency at this time that regulates or monitors his whereabouts. He goes free anywhere he wants. So he had zero consequences, as far as I'm concerned. What do you guys think? I mean, I know this isn't the first time we've ever heard of somebody getting away with basically horrendous crimes because they're rich, but I think this case is opening up. They're trying to unseal it. Yep. Yeah. The entire 45 administration is the abortion of affirmative action and white privilege. We all know this, but Americans are lazy. And as long as we have our McDonald's and our iPhones, we'll never have a yellow vest revolt. Yeah. Great point. I mean, that's my big thing is like, why aren't people doing something? I mean, I could go on and on. Why aren't people doing something about this? It's crazy. America isn't run by the people. It's run by the wealthiest people who get away with murder. I mean, I can't imagine how all these other things, how long they've been going on. Robert, Princess Charlotte, the first Black Queen of England, and Meghan is not the first Black royal. Cheddar Man was just proved to be the first British that was Black. Thinking about this, time for the truth. You know what? I heard that. And it's like the wealthy people, they're creating their own reality or something. I just don't get it. But anyway, so let me see. I can't wait. I want these things opened. I want full disclosure. Anastasia, we ran in oligarchs like the 46 daddy in like 46 is daddy in Russia. Yeah, I mean, and OG, hello, thank you for being here. OG Dread or OGD Red, phonics instructor. Sorry, I had to do it. Tuition has started to keep Black people out. Absolutely. And these people dare to do this. And you know it's been going on for everywhere this is just the tip of the iceberg, but they just got caught. Great point. I actually know like 5 different friends, 5 different people I know who did not go to college simply because they couldn't afford it. That's disgusting. And then you hear about stuff like this. That's why Black colleges were started. Absolutely. Yep. Because it doesn't matter to white people who are truly racist. They don't care how smart you are. They don't care if you're brilliant. They'll just be jealous, and they don't want you to succeed. They don't. It doesn't matter how hard you work. The studies that I talked about earlier today, like an hour ago or whatever, unbelievable. They showed over and over and over the wealthiest people whose kids were not academic, not really, high up in the IQ area, or other areas, weren't into it, graduated college, much more likely to graduate college than the most brilliant person who is Black or in a historically marginalized group and parents are poor. Okay. If the Black people's parents were rich, they were right up there. But it was all about being impoverished. And since we all know systemic racism in America has absolutely forced Black people to not be able to accumulate wealth as well as they should be, because we love our racism, and this is impacted. And so when you say the Black colleges and these are students who aren't getting in, we're wasting. I mean, even if you're a racist and you love being racist, if you care about your country, we're wasting our most brilliant kids because they don't have enough money we could have like cured all these diseases. I mean, it's just crazy. Our values are really screwed up. I'm done. It was illegal to educate Blacks during slavery, then obstructed during Reconstruction. Absolutely. And it's unbelievable. I don't know if a lot of white folks know that it was on the books. If you teach, white folks know. This is not an accident. White folks know about knowledge is power. They know knowledge is power. They made it so that if a slave was taught to read, they could be killed, they could be branded, they could be raped. They made it like they knew. They knew. So somewhere in there, they all knew. And that is the sickest, worst of all. Thanks. Great point. Anastasia, oh my God, did I just foreshadow the marmalade Mussolini would win in 2020? Oh my God, you're funny. Tell us more. So anyway, you guys got to start bringing up some stuff. I want to, just for people who weren't sure what was going on, I want that opened. Oh my God, for those girls' sake, they got no justice. They got nothing. They were used and abused. And after seeing the interviews of the girls, they're living with this stuff. I mean, it's life changing. Oh God, especially at that age. And I can't even think about it. So there's another case coming up, and that's why Epstein's in the news now, that seeks to invalidate his plea deal. Here's the thing. What we have to think about, and this isn't my personal idea. This is, a lot of people have been saying this. This case with Epstein, I mean, talk about white privilege on steroids gone insane. He got away with sexually abusing, probably, like I say, thousands and thousands of young girls. He got away with it because he has a lot of money. And this case actually goes way beyond. It's just like with Trump, it goes way beyond the hundreds and hundreds of girls who were raped by this monster. It's about the integrity of our justice system. I mean, justice shouldn't be bought. So I'm going to take some comments, and then we get to talk about how Trump's involved here. And I have a couple conspiracy theories. And I'm not into conspiracy theories, but at this point, the overwhelming amount of information that is out there, I can't keep up. I mean, I don't know how people keep up, but there's this strange, symbiotic, disgusting relationship with some of these millionaire, billionaire people. Have you guys noticed that? Let me take some people. Robert. And one of the reasons they did not educate blacks was that they didn't want them to read the Bible and find out that the Bible is all about them. Yeah, that's really sad. Thank you for sharing that. That's a huge piece of information. I never really got it how I hate, okay, I'll just say it. As a white person, okay, me and my privilege, I hate thinking about how people in America took away their culture and they forced people, they dragged people over and forced them into a non-human status and then forced their religion on them. Oh my God. Like pray on Sunday, you get the shit beat out of you on every other, I mean, it's just sick. It's so wrong and so sick. And it makes me really, really angry. It's really hard to deal with. Yep, great point. Thank you for pointing that out. Because I expect if you're new to being here, don't be shy to jump in. The viewers educate everybody. I'm not the all-knowing. In fact, I get educated continuously. So I count on people who are. Thank you so much to everybody. Let me see. Neil, known as the first black college with an African-American president, Wilberforce University was founded in 1856 in Ohio. Thank you for that. It's really cool. It's a lot of people are starting to think that that's going to be the way. They're giving up. I've just heard people online talking, and we just can't give up. It's easy for me to say. I'm not the one being abused, but God, white America, we have to be better than this. We just have to be. Let me see. Kitchen politics. Uh-oh, lots of people. Let me just go on here. I lost my spot. Kitchen politics. Public lynching of R. Kelly, but Epstein and Weinstein under wraps. Hardly any media coverage. Yeah. You don't want to know why? Because they're white. Yeah, I'm just kidding. Of course, we all know why. Yeah, and it's disgusting. OG Dread 74, the difference between schools from the community, HBCU, state universities, and Ivy Leagues is just so wrong. Yeah, it's the whole thing is really, really bad. It's unbelievable. This, and like I tell, when I work with the white people who are kind of beginners, and they're like, wow, I'm just noticing all this stuff. It's like, oh geez. But when I work with them, I can't impress upon them enough how every single solitary facet of society is just drowning in white supremacy. You can't. That's why when I start the show, I say, whatever you guys think's significant to talk about racism, bigotry, and inequality in America, and that's everything, because it is. Always, it's the foundation of this nation. We started it with the near genocide, and then that wasn't good enough for us. We enslaved humans who had families and civilizations who were actually professionals, who had a life, and we put them into a non-human status, all for greed, so they can make our nation wealthy. So when a white person says my ancestors didn't own slaves, if you're a white person and you're trying to educate them, you tell them it doesn't matter. You benefit from slave labor today. And they just need to get this stuff. But let me see. I will stop talking. Anastasia. AOC. Leanne's. Omar Rep. Yeah, I'm having trouble reading today. Presley, our wrecking shop, and people are waking up. I know, it's kind of insane. I read something right before I came on, and I was like, dang. Yeah. I read a couple of things I didn't really get either, so I won't talk about them until I can kind of figure it out. But yeah, they are, I think the cat's out of the bag, I'm going to say. Sometimes the way I look at it is, for me, when I teach the white people so that they can support, not lead, support real equality, they have to understand this is a lifelong process. As a white person, I will never get this. I will never be a person who lives in a nation of white supremacy. I am a white person, and I will never get this, but I will spend the rest of my life trying. And we have to dedicate ourselves to getting this. We've been lied to, So we've been lied to, but once we get that, it's time to move on. It's not about us. It's about righting a horrific crime against humanity. And that is systemic. Obviously, the slavery, that's obviously, but the systemic racism is an ongoing crime against humanity, and it's still going. And anyone who doesn't think it is, I'll take 3 of what they're having, because they're in a delusional world. Okay, I will stop talking. I will start reading. Let me see. Oh, wow. I am behind. Let me see. Sorry about that, guys. Kitchen politics. The American justice system is a damn joke. Absolutely, yeah. Anastasia, no, I call him 46 instead of 45. Very good. Kitchen politics. AOC will make a great POTUS one day. Yeah, if she can survive all this, I know she's not perfect, but you know what? We need people like her to say, no, I am not playing your game anymore. I'm done. I'm not playing your game. And they can try to, discredit her and make her this and make her that. But she is, and I know she's not perfect. The stuff she said about reparations, a lot of people were upset. Right now, I don't think we have the luxury of having perfect. We need someone who just gets it and is willing to rock the boat at all cost. I think our nation is in jeopardy. And I know I'm not alone with that. It's not good. Who out there thought that Trump would be in power still right now? with his disgusting things that he's doing. And he is circumventing the spirit of the law in ways that are unimaginable. Okay. Oh, J.D. Izzy, hello. The court should dismiss Nick Sandman case. Even if Nathan Phillips misled us, he should never be insulted. Tell me more. I do not know what you're referring to, but I want to know. So teach us, okay? Anastasia, nothing is going to happen to him, just like nothing happened to Manafort, Michael Cohen, Weinstein. Anastasia, babe, a drug addict knows where to find other drug addicts and drugs. They know one another because they think the same way and maneuver in the same groups. Yeah, that's kind of like what I was saying. Like they have this like sick symbiosis. Like they kind of cover for each other. And the Acosta guy, I bet he got his job because he knows Trump was at that party and he knows that they allowed Epstein to get away with these horrible crimes. And he probably was like, don't worry. I don't know how they talk. Don't worry. I'll get you into office. I'll get you into some high position. I mean, this is disgusting. Great points, Anastasia. Unfortunately, those are great points because I think we're learning a lot about our government. I mean, a lot of people already knew this, but I'm hoping that people rocking the boat are going to get this out in the open. Kim, some of this is international. Napoleon's army fired cannonballs at the face of the Sphinx because he was outraged to find an advanced civilization with the Sphinx having negroid facial features. Absolutely. It's really like, okay, and Don, tell me what you think. It's almost as if white people are so incredibly insecure that they can't, like I always say, and I remember I work with beginners. If the best thing you ever did was to get born white, I'm sorry, that's pathetic. It's ludicrous. So I'm not trying to put people down, but I don't know what to say, Let me see. Anastasia, it's a pedophile ring. Yep. I just never knew it was that huge. I mean, I knew it was huge, but I didn't know it was that huge. It's a pedophile ring because they know how to find one another and they cover for one another. And it's disgusting. It's Robert. Cheyney University of Pennsylvania in 1836 is the oldest Black college. Is that right? Okay, yeah. Is that what Neil said, or did he say something else? I can't remember exactly what he had said. But J. Dizzy or J.D. Izzy, Sergeant? AOC is likely to be a presidential candidate in 2024. I can see her being president in 2028, 2032. She needs to study her ideas better, though, and stop reading off talking points that others give her. Yeah, I mean, I find her to be fantastic. She's not perfect in all her things, and there are times where I want to throttle her. But you know what? Who else is doing that? Who else is saying, I'm not going to sit here and do nothing while my fellow humans are abused? And I think her heart's in the right place, at least what I've seen. And you know what? All these politicians are there to be politicians. She's there to be a human. And that's what I like. And again, she's not perfect. But wow, we need her. God, do we need her? Neil, I apologize. Robert H. is right. I was wrong about the date of the first Black college. No problem. That's what we're here to all learn. Thanks, Neil. Anastasia. AOC has notes just like every other politician does, and she doesn't, so she doesn't sound like a two-legged Neil. Yeah, I mean, this kid, I mean, she's kind of a kid. She's very young. She's taken on, no one else is doing it. So, I think it's awesome and amazing, and I hope to hell she kicks ass. That's all I can say. Oopsie, I scrolled. Pat, hello. Thank you for being here, and thanks for saying hi. Very happy. If you're listening and you're shy, please don't be shy. I don't know half the stuff. We're learning from each other. That's what this show's about. Oh, yes. Let me see. Anastasia, can we talk about the farm bill and the safety net for failing farms and stupid tariffs that we have been denied to black farmers and the company that sold black farmers bad seeds on purpose? I read about that, but I didn't read in detail. So if you want to provide information, I am absolutely thrilled to just put you to work, to do my, put you to work. But I don't know the details, but I did hear that. And the whole thing's just ludicrous. This is like, I feel like this is like a free-for-all Trump's free-for-all. So jump in. Anyone who has information on that, jump in and I'll read it. Lakeisha, whites are insecure and they feed that on us with their covert racism. Yeah, it's almost like, and I can't imagine what it's like to have even nothing wrong and people make it like, tell me what you think of this. And I'm just going to put this out here, and this is kind of bold. I'm not a savior. I don't deserve credit for caring. That's ridiculous. Everyone should care. And that they don't, I don't even get. But I want to just scream on the rooftops. It's not you, it's us. Like, is that stupid? I mean, tell me. I just want to go, like, I have some like young, I don't say like men, but they're kind of boys. I mean, they're like, right on the board, like they're kind of really young men. I had someone ask me more than once, write to me and say, so why do they do it? Can you just tell me the secret? And this kid was dead serious. He wanted me to tell him why the white people do this. And I felt horrible. I have no idea. He thought like it was a secret that like a white people's secret or something. And I want people to know. Sometimes like people, when they break up, they're like, oh, it's me, it's not you. Well, it is, it's the white people. We did this. We created this system. And I don't get it. So sometimes I want to scream, just scream, but I won't hear. Okay. Don, Anastasia, that is huge, and you are absolutely correct. The failed tariffs, the selling of poison seed to black farmers, and the bailout aid only going to big corporate farmers. Disgusting and typical of, thank you, Don, totally typical. I'm kind of a feel person. I'm not into details, as you might have noticed. I remember when I was younger, it was a lot easier. I remember the feel of everything, of being an entrepreneur. Like, I remember thinking, yeah, if you work hard, I really thought you could start your own business. Now it's like huge, big money and big business and conglomerates. And I think it is really, really hard to start to be an entrepreneur, because it's not the same as when I was little. And I even noticed that. What do you guys think? It's like money and politics and corporates as humans and citizens united, it's out of control. This nation's out of control as the middle class disappears. So let me see. Whoops, I keep scrolling too much. Yeah, I'm gonna read about that, Dawn. That's insanity. Kitchen politics. Rome, Italy, alliance between the Vatican and the Mormons yesterday. Look it up. The only thing they share in common is raping kids, treating minorities like garbage, and hating women's progress and rights. Yeah, they've got an interesting thing going with the Catholic Church. Somebody needs to teach me something. Okay, and this is a really, really naive question, but I'm going to put it out there and not be, sad to say when I don't know something. I don't get it. How do these priests, or I guess they're priests, how come they're not in jail? Like, is there some law? I'm not religious at all. I've just stayed away from religion. It's my thing. If you want to know why, talk to me later in private. But how do they get away with this? If they weren't priests, they'd be in prison. Is there like a religious law that kind of supersedes, I don't know, U.S. law and decency? I don't know. I need to be taught. I don't get how they get away with it. Robert, white people need to get over themselves. True. They were not the first people on the earth. True. And what do they say? That's why our history was whitewashed. Anything hidden will come to light. That's what I want. I'm kind of one of those people who I want the truth. I don't care if it's ugly. I will take the truth over a lie any day of the week. I can't stand the lies. I want to know, I want to know the truth as far as people know. And the whitewashed history and the lies and the total elimination. Most people don't know that the Devil's Punch Bowl. They don't know that 20,000 people who were supposed to be freed were recaptured and put in a concentration camp and murdered. 20,000. And that's just one of them. There were others. That's just like a big one. The Devil's Punch Bowl. Look it up. I know you guys probably know about that, but these are secrets. Like when people say, I think the number one thing when people say, and I don't know what you guys think, when people say slavery was so long ago, I honestly want to throttle their body. I really do. It's like, you have no idea what you're talking about. That's what I want to say. I'm doing another video on it because for the white people, I want them to know. It's a top 10. I want them to know. Oh, was it really? Well, maybe you don't know what's happened in the past 100 years. Maybe you just, and I want to put it out there. And I won't be, snotty like that. But when people say that, it's like Dunning-Kruger makes me insane. It's like they don't get what they don't know because they don't know anything. Maybe I'm a snob, but it's driving me crazy. It's just too much. I am skipping people. I apologize. Sorry about that. Okay, Don, a group of Black farmers based in Memphis said they were the group that targeted discriminate. They claimed that they were the targeted group that was discriminated against and being sold defective seeds by the Stein Seed Company, the nation's largest independent seed producer. Dang, I missed that story completely. I mean, I saw it, but I didn't get to read about it. Wow, that's recent, right? That's like people are unstinking believable. I gotta say, wow. Thank you for that information. Anastasia, honestly, I know your audience. Oops, I know your audience, but we have to face facts. Black people will never get freedom by begging or praying for it. We keep thinking that if we concede to their humanity, they will feel bad, but it's never going to happen. Freedom has never been won without bloodshed. I don't promote violence, but we got to get it that this will be war and another Black Holocaust. Anastasia, I hear you. I hear you. These people who have this mentality, they'll die for their white supremacy. It's that. I mean, look at Trump. He's right. He could have killed someone in the middle of Times Square because he had them at racism. The minute they found out that he was the racist they've been looking for their whole life, it didn't matter what they did. And I believe that with all my heart. It didn't matter. He had them the second. This is the guy they were looking for. This guy understood them. We're white. We want, we want to be superior. And it's like disgusting. It doesn't matter what he does. And it's terrifying. So maybe you're right. I've heard that point so much and I don't get it. Anton, yes, it's absolutely a law. It goes back before Hitler. Yep. Let me see if I missed anybody. Anastasia, it's never right. I don't know what they want to do, but I've never seen like people that it's all they have. It's like all they have or something. I don't get it. I don't get it. The psychology of it, I don't get. Pat, whites have the power. Whoa. Neil, I grew up on a farm and it was big companies that were buying our small farmers, and that it is who now controls white farmers as well. General Mills, Campbell's, etc. Yeah, I mean, big business. capitalism unchecked. Is that kind of what capitalism unchecked? It's not good. Not good at all. I don't even see people with lemonade stands out there anymore. Even the kids now, they're like, we'll never make it. We're not going to do a lemonade stand. I don't know. I'm teasing, but not really. Anastasia, there will be millions. There used to be millions of black bombers. Now there's only 33,000. I can't wait to research this. Kitchen politics. I'm trying not to scroll. The Archdiocese got 6 years recently. There is a Vatican tribunal that deals with sexual abuse cases. The problem is that they cover it up. They have billions and throw money around to cover stuff up. I should know. Oh, okay. Sorry if you should know. That's really sad. Kitchen. Oh, you almost became a Catholic priest. Really? We'll talk. Interesting. Very interesting. Yeah, I just don't get it. I guess, once again, money. I guess. I mean, you know, let me see. You almost became a Catholic. Robert, I have heard people say that before, and I have a very, very big fundamental issue with, and I'm not trying to beg on you or, whatever, with equating pedophilia with being born gay or in the LGBT community. Absolutely not the same thing. And I will say that with all my heart. So I don't know if they're gay, but gay and pedophilia, not the same thing, not even close. People are born one way, and you might be born a pedophile, but it's not, it's like a separate thing. It's not just not to be demeaning, but I'll pounce right on that, because that's a stereotype that people like to, and I'm not saying you're liking to do it, but people like to perpetuate that stereotype, and it is absolutely false. But I mean, maybe there are some priests who happen to be gay, but it doesn't mean the pedophile thing. Okay, I think you get it, whatever. But no, if you're a pedophile, you're a pedophile. You have your certain area that's been studied. And again, with all due respect, I can't go there, but I don't mean to put you down, because everyone has their opinion. The Catholic Church wants a comedian from SNL to apologize for saying that they are just like R. Kelly. My thing is, what did they say that was wrong? Anastasia, they said the truth. I'm sorry. If you covet little children to have sex with, then that's what you do. And by the way, when I say stuff like this, I want to make it crystal clear. I'm not in favor of doing horrible, awful things to people who are pedophiles. They need help. Okay. Should they be around children? Hell no. Should they be harmed? No way. I truly believe with all my heart that the way we take care of our most vulnerable members, which includes severely, emotional disorders or mental disorders. I don't know what it's classified as. Okay. I don't know. I think it's its own little thing. These people need our help. And I know probably 99.999% of the people listening and people who might watch this are like, be quiet, angry soccer mom. We want to kill them. We want to castrate them. It matters. These are the people that are the most vulnerable and the easiest to say, we'll do this to them, we'll do that to them. I can't imagine being born a pedophile. I can't. And I'm just putting it out there. I know people don't share my opinion, but should they be around kids? Oh my God, no. But we need to help them. There's no rehabilitation per se. We need to help them. It's called being human. So that's just everyone will be like, later, we're out of here. But that's my 2 cents. So when I do say this, they need help. A comedian, that's funny. Anastasia, that's actually kind of funny. They just don't see themselves as, the same, but they are. So it's crazy. It's crazy. Let me see. Oh, I backed up. Quentin. Hello. Welcome to the show. Thank you for saying hi. I am very, very happy you're here. And jump on in and say whatever you want, because God knows I do. Anastasia. Okay, take slavery out. Was everything peaches and ice cream without slavery? That's rhetorical, right? I'm going to say no. I'm going to say not at all. But Robert, my oldest family just died not long ago, and he was born in, your oldest family member, 1912. His father was born a slave. Oh my God. Think about that. His father was born in 1862. Robert, abso-stinking-lutely. When they say, oh, slavery was so long ago, are you shitting me? If I trace back, my great-grandmother, my great-grandmother, she probably knew people who were slaves. I mean, yeah, real long ago. It's just yet another cliche, classic excuse to deny systemic racism. It's disgusting and it's pathetic. Absolutely. It is not. It's unbelievable. It's just unbelievable. Yeah, real long ago. Great point, Robert. Pat, but did you know the Catholic Church was the first to slavery into law? The Catholic, tell me more. Did you know that the Catholic Church was the first to, tell me more, because I'm not 100% sure what you're saying, but I want to know. Okay. Kitchen politics. Pope Pius was responsible for murdering 1 million Serbs and helped the Gestapo. Excuse my language, but the effing Catholic Church, my Junus is riled up now. You're so funny. I did not know that, but there's been a lot of crimes against humanity in the name of religion. It's got a crazy world. I think we're going to find this, and this is kind of my own philosophy. We're going to find that, if we make it, the humans make it, we're going to find that they're going to say they made a mistake historically. The Dark Ages never ended. Because this cannot be enlightening. This cannot be enlightened. I can't believe it's enlightened. This is enlightened, because if this is enlightened, we're pathetic. Kitchen politics explains the Catholic Mormon alliance and the pedophilia history of both religious cults. Okay. And again, I'll speak for kitchen politics with all due respect to other people's faith. There are people who follow the faith in the spirit that it was meant. And there are people who follow the faith to have an excuse to do rotten things. And every faith has it. So I'm like the little philosopher here. Les, we love what you do. Keep it up. Good. Thank you, Les. You are so sweet. Thank you so much for being here and for your support. You are amazing. Thank you so much. Good night, sweet dreams. And kitchen politics. Pope. Okay. I already said that. Kitchen politics. The 2027, the RMS Titanic 2 set sail on the same path. Who's planning on that trip? Let's go. Cheapest fare, $25,000. Basement, 1-bedroom suite. Tell me what you're talking about. I'm lost. Neil, I don't mean to bring it up, but the Illuminati has a lot to do with the famous, including politicians, when it comes to pedophilia. Yeah. I guess I just didn't realize personally that it was this rampant. There's like apparently an underground thing going on with, I knew about it in the general population, but the whole thing with like wealthy people. What the hell? It's crazy. Pat, the Catholic Church was the first to legalize slavery. They put it into law. Interesting. That's what I thought you meant, but I didn't want to say it since I don't know that, but thank you. I'm sorry. I hope I didn't frustrate you by saying, say that again. But yeah, I thought that's what you were saying, but I didn't want to go there to misrepresent you. Yep. Thanks. The Illuminati is something very real. Yeah. I read all the Dan Brown books. Does that count? I'm just kidding, but I don't know much about it. But wow. I wanted to go on to tell you something that was probably the most disgusting thing about this whole Epstein, Trump, whatever. And I'm going to go into the Trump connection, if you don't know it already, which most of us probably do listening. But if you don't, you're going to want to hear this. The immunity that Epstein was given, let me just read this because I can't. It was related to all federal criminal charges, not only for him, but for, quote, any potential co-conspirator who might have been involved in those alleged federal crimes. Let me just say that once more, okay? Epstein, the deal he got with this bought-off deal, he bought off at the state level and he bought off at the federal level, or he did something. The immunity from all the crimes, all the federal crimes and charges, was not only for him, but also for any potential co-conspirator who might have been involved in those alleged federal crimes. Trump. Okay, sorry. But while we're being real about this, can I please just say, Trump had a rape case by a 13-year-old, and obviously the woman's, it's a woman now, and she'd never had sex before. He literally, I mean, I don't want to go there. This provision, this is, I couldn't believe when I was reading this. This provision would effectively forbid the FBI from looking any further into evidence of international sex trafficking and essentially make it retroactively legal for anyone to have conspired with the suspect to rape any of the alleged victims. I don't understand. I thought that, and I'm not an attorney, I wish we had one on board. I didn't think you could give away someone's rights. But this was like a blanket. What he got, oh, I want those records to be opened. Oh, do I ever. I want those records to be opened. I want to know. And those girls that are now women and still suffering from the horrific stuff he put them through. If you saw the interviews, they deserve to have closure. So Trump's connection with all of this. Well, I'm going to talk about his connection with Epstein. Apparently there are friends. A federal lawsuit filed in California in April 2016. It was against Epstein and Trump by a California woman who alleged that the men sexually assaulted her at a series of their parties at Epstein's Manhattan home in 1994 when she was 13 years old. Now, do you guys remember that? Kitchen politics, that's why, Neil, kitchen politics, that's why I brought up the Illuminati, yeah. Do you remember that? And well before he was running for office, when he was just his regular jerk doing evil things to the Central Park Five, doing rotten things to Black people who just wanted to rent a space in his place. Well, well before he was ever this candidate promising to harm every single historic person in historically marginalized groups in the entire country. Way before that, this woman brought a lawsuit against him and then dropped it and then reopened it. And then the witnesses were afraid, basically. They were afraid. The third lawsuit was filed because a witness had decided that she would cooperate. Does anybody remember? I think it was like 6 days before the 2016 election. This woman was, this now woman, she was a kid, was scheduled to have a press conference, a tell-all press conference, to just say it. And I think it was like 24 hours before she was going to do it, the witness, and she just dropped out of sight completely. And Trump's, the woman, her lawyer, Lisa Bloom, said, made an announcement that she has changed her mind again because of threats that she received. And I believe it with all my heart that she probably did from Trump. I mean, like Cohen said, if you saw his testimony, he didn't threaten them themselves, but he had people threaten them. And I'm telling you, this is all, it's like this like strange like relationship of sickness. Neil, the Central Park Five has been swept under the rug because Trump paid to have him kept out of it and the damage it would bring him. Yeah, Neil and my other friends who are watching right now and talking to me, it was the first thing I learned about Trump. I never followed him. I knew he was some conceited rich guy, but when I saw him at the Republican, doing one of the debates, one of the first debates, I saw him up there with a whole bunch of people. And I was waiting and waiting. Not a single one of them. He said horrific things about our fellow humans. And I was like, wait for it. Like, my kids know you don't stand there and do nothing. And every last one of those candidates stood there and said nothing. And I said, you know what? We're screwed. I knew we were screwed. And not like I'm all knowing or anything, but they sat there and listened to him say horrific things about our fellow Americans. And they all said nothing. I thought, okay, they're complicit. That's it. And I know that's a really high standard, but you know what? They're going to be politicians. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. Call me crazy. Maybe I am crazy. But I still think that, don't we want the best people? I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm just too idealistic, but I kind of like thought we were supposed to have the best people for politicians. Being immoral and a jackass, that's a dime a dozen. I didn't know I thought we had higher standards. But anyway, so this person was scheduled to appear in a Los Angeles press conference 6 days before the 2016 election, and she abruptly canceled. Her lawyer said that threats, somebody got to her. So the suit was dropped. Of course, Trump's attorney, Alan Garden, flatly denies the allegations. Well, Epstein declined to comment. Well, they were both there. And there were witnesses. There were witnesses. There were people who are too scared. In fact, when I heard part of the girl at the time's testimony, there were witnesses, more than 1, 2, 3, 4. There were witnesses. So, you guys, the theme for tonight is people who are extremely wealthy being above the law. And I'd say we've definitely gone full circle. So there's one more thing. Does anyone want to say anything more about anything? Anything about any of this? The last thing I was going to talk about really quickly is what a joke Trump's new budget is. It's the cruelest proposal yet. It's ludicrous. I mean, honestly, don't know how he's getting away with all this. It's unbelievable. He's planned to cut Medicaid by a gazillion trillion, 1.5 trillion over the next decade. Trump's budget would end Medicaid expansion under the Affordable Care Act, preventing millions of Americans from getting access to health care. And guess who is impacted the most? Black people and people in historically marginalized groups who have not made it in America. Kitchen politics. I knew we were screwed when Comey did what he did. Hillary was no angel, no politician is, but pathologically mendacious Trump? Really, America? You're using big words. Caucusocracy at its best. I don't know what that means. I want to find out. Made me want to vomit. I was just thinking when people, here's the thing, and I think it's going to happen again if he's still in office. I truly believe that people are going to go ideal again. Thank you, Anton. Anton says, have a great weekend. Be safe out there. Thank you so, so much for your support, Anton. I'm thrilled that you're here. Thank you so much. Totally appreciate it. Sweet dreams. I promise I'll end really soon because I bet everyone's exhausted. This stuff's surreal. I think people are going to be idealistic again. What do you guys think? And they're going to go, well, let's see, I was talking to my friend Ken about this the other day, and or was it today? I'm losing my trays. I don't think we can afford that. People who are, and I get being idealistic and all that stuff, and I get it. But the problem is, I think our nation's, I mean, talk about a constitutional crisis. My God, we're having some serious problems. And I was kind of like, I'm not a Democrat and I'm not a Republican, but I was a like anyone but Trumper, because I read about what he did and how cruel he was. He basically got these young boys that are now men. He destroyed their lives. He basically set them up to be imprisoned. They'd be in prison right now, probably. I mean, anyway, I don't want to get into the Central Park 5 because, that's a lot of people know that. But what he did, it was the first thing I learned about him. Look, Trump is not a good look for the country, Pat. Yeah. So I just don't get it. But I kind of do, because I looked up the psychology of it. I think I talked about it last time. But anyway, he wants to slash Medicaid by $840 billion, which is going to threaten seniors. He wants to make 25 billion, we're talking billions here, cuts in Social Security over 10 years, including cuts to disability insurance. You guys, if you look this stuff up, you'll find, and I mean, I know you guys, most of you probably already know. Pat says Trump should go to jail. I don't know what Trump should do, but he needs to get out of our life, because he is not, he's not a good man. He's a very, very bad man. He's a very bad man. And I personally don't care where he goes. I just don't want him impacting my fellow humans or my life, because he's not humanistic. He's not a good man. Kakistocracy. The least educated are in the political power who run. I thought that was something else. They work above the law and they think they're above it. Why did I think I was just using that word? Okay, thank you. Thank you, Kitchen Politics, for teaching me. I thought that was a different word for that, but that's me. I'm not on here to be the know-it-all. I'm on here to learn and to have people see, yes, a white person can have a conversation in a multicultural setting about racism and be fine. Good night, Kitchen Politics. I'm going to say good night to everybody because I'm keeping everyone up. I cannot thank you enough for being here. Keep an eye on all this stuff because shit's going down. I can't believe I just said that. But I will just, good night. Thank you for the conversation, Kitchen Politics. Great conversation as usual. And thank you so much for being here. I'm thrilled you were here. Always adds so much to the conversation. And Neil, Kim, I believe you would try to educate white people about anyone who was president, no matter what their politics were. And as corrupt as Trump is, yeah, here's the thing. And like I say this every single show. And people believe me or they don't. This isn't about politics for me. I don't like politics. It's about being human. I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Democrat. I just want humanism. We're on this planet for such a short amount of time. We're like nothing. I mean, why do we have to do this to our fellow humans? Why? It's just wrong. And I don't get it. Kitchen Politics. Great point. Thank you, Neil. I love that you know me. You get me. Thank you. Kitchen Politics. Trump should go to prison and be, oh, no. I'm not going to say that. Because you know what? Honestly, I totally get what you're saying. But I can't go there. I truly believe in my heart of hearts, and don't throw anything at me. He is severely mentally ill, untreated, unmedicated, very wealthy. His family is a code to him. Most people are afraid of him. But I know when you say that, Kitchen Politics, I get it. And I'm not trying to put you down, but I don't want anything bad to happen to him. the man needs help. He's a sick, sick man. And the fact that they do that in prison to people and they allow that is unconscionable. What about the you know what? We talked about that. Oh, you missed it. Darn it. Jay Ross, I'm so happy you're here, but we talked about it for a while, but it was the first thing we talked about. So if you're just coming toward, towards the end, did we ever talk about it? And yes, it was disgusting. Yep, disgusting on so many levels. But no. I'm just really happy you're here. But yeah, we talked about that. So if you go back, you'll see quite the conversation. Thanks. Yeah, we talked. That was the first thing we did. And then we went into this Epstein thing. But anyway, I'm going to say goodnight to everybody. Neil, you are honest and have a great mission that so many people need to learn about, and also spread the word that racism is real in America. And that, you know what? White people, thank you, Neil. Thank you so much. White people, we're not the solution. We're not the saviors. We're not the leaders. But God forbid we give a shit about our fellow humans. I don't know about you, but as a white person, I can't stand seeing the abuse. It's disgusting. All in a country that boasts liberty and justice for all. Talk about, what a joke. What a joke. Pat, the 13th and 14th Amendment, I skipped you, I didn't mean to skip it, need to be changed because it's still designed to keep blacks enslaved. Yep. The 13th Amendment did not end slavery. It ended some slavery. And great point. And I think it's disgusting. I knew you'd ask that. Okay, let me go back. Trump has been good for the country. Okay, that's what Jay Ross is saying. Jay Ross. So what's your view on the ideas of reparations? Personally, as far as I know, Black Americans whose ancestors were forced into slavery, chattel slavery, are the only people that I know of that have gotten nothing. We haven't stopped systemic racism, although we're perfectly capable of doing so. We haven't given them reparations. In fact, we've kept redlining going well into, redlining's been going on since I've been alive. I mean, not that old, I'm kind of old. Redlining's been around, and redlining is probably one of the number one ways that we have made sure that Black people and other people in historically marginalized groups get to struggle to accumulate wealth. They started from here, and we're keeping them down with redlining, sundown towns, our police culture, the systemic racism, and the lack of education. Should they receive them? I am 100%, as a white person, it's not my place to say what, where, when, how, but absolutely I'm in favor of reparations. Absolutely. But here's the problem. And this is kind of like here's the problem. Reparations would be amazing, and they should be, and they should have been done years and years and years ago. But there's just so much more needed than that. Reparations, I don't care what amount. You cannot give enough for what we did. But we're still doing it. So it's like the example that I use is the husband or wife who's abusive to their, the spouse abuse. They say, oh, forgive me, as they're punching their spouse in the face. I mean, that's what we're doing now. All the statistics show across the board, life expectancy, income, there's nothing that isn't impacted by systemic racism, making white folks get the advantage and Black people and other people not. And so if we don't end the systemic racism, what's the whole point? I mean, I think absolutely for reparations, but we have to do way more than reparations. We have to stop the bullshit. Whites aren't superior. Deal with it. Deal with the pain. So what? If the best thing you ever did was be born white. It wasn't, you didn't do anything. It's chance. I didn't do anything to be born white. It's just chance. Well stated by saying your position and that you are for them, receiving them. Okay, thank you. It's something I've really given a lot of thought to, but it's not my place to say who, what, when, and where. I mean, but yeah, thank you. Pat, that's right. Blacks are the only people who have not gotten anything. But what they do is put all other races in the same group with Blacks to keep them from doing what needs to be done for Blacks. Yeah, and that's what bothered me about, what's your acronyms? I'm losing it from lack of sleep. Representative OCA or ACO. Oh my God, I'm dyslexic. I'm losing it. Yeah, that's what bothered me. When there's like a moment in time when they were talking about reparations. AOC. Oh, thanks. That was the engineer. See, it makes me happy that he messed up too. But for a moment, she was saying, oh, and what about this and what about that? Well, here's the thing. Black Americans whose ancestry dates back to humans being forced into a, slavery, chattel slavery. That's a very, very, how do I say it? Very specific, much different than any other group. Now, Native Americans, which many people were Black as well, they have a different thing going on too, but there's no comparison. You can't put everybody in that pot. Now, it can't be. This is, and sure, a lot of people who aren't white have horrific systemic racism against them, but these people didn't just have systemic racism against them. They were forced into a slave status where their children, I mean, I don't want to go on and on, but it's a totally different thing. And so when she threw that in there, I was kind of like, wow. It's kind of yippee, Kristen, yippee. It's kind of like really tough to handle. And again, I like what she's doing. She's not perfect, but at least she's trying to do something. So I'm going to wrap it up. I just wanted to say, if you believe like I do that it's way past time for white Americans to take some racial responsibility. We didn't do it. We were born into this, just like everyone else. But just like anyone who's a decent human, we see it. Why would we stand there and do nothing and be like, I was born into it. That's the way it is. Seriously, I teach my kids better than that. I might be hardcore, and I don't think so, but I teach my kids, if you stand there and do nothing in the face of a horrific wrong, you might as well have done it yourself. And that's a tough lesson to learn. And it takes an older child to be able to do something like that. But that's what I instill in my kids. Our country is one teenager that needs to grow the hell up and get a life. Ross, since 1965 now to 2019, things really haven't changed in the roles. Different systems in place pushing the same results. Good point. Yeah, and you know what, the toughest part is white folks don't understand that we're working against ourselves being racist. Systemic racism is not in our best interest unless we're billionaires and millionaires, in which case there's this symbiotic relationship with capitalism and racism, and apparently they got a thing going on. But like we were talking about at the last show, if the biggest fear of the wealthiest elites is that white Americans, every last one of us, will see our plight and realize, you know what? They're not working for us. We're working for them. And we'll unite with people in historically marginalized groups and come together and take our nation the way we deserve it. And stop making the wealthiest people richer and actually have a country that's for the people with liberty and justice for all. So that's my speech. I'll read a couple more and then I gotta go and you guys gotta go too. But I'm just thrilled to have people here. Do you believe that, okay, J. Ross, do you believe the challenges being brought forth about history being changed by the U.S. government about blacks are real? Indians forced to change their name description, Indians, yes, I do. Good question. I do. And I think that, just like I was kind of saying before, that's a great question. I do. I need to learn more about it. But the way I look at it is, just like psychology and psychiatry is in its infancy, and neurology, oh my God, neurology's this brain, we know nothing. And, like, I think we are in its infancy of knowing the real truth about Israelites and the real first people here and who was what. There's been so much washed aside or destroyed. I think we're in its, that's just my opinion, we're in its infancy, Pat. But when it comes to getting anything, blacks are always excluded from that. Yes, it's like I was saying, Pat, there's like a special hatred, and it's just it's a weird thing. I don't get it. Neil, yeah, absolutely. Great comments, you guys. Good night, John. Thank you so much. I am so happy we're here. And everybody, if you didn't hear at the beginning, Don is going to come on either this week or probably the next week. He's going to come on, and he has amazing things. He's an athlete, and he's a health coach, and he does tons of stuff. So he's going to come on and talk about some of the stuff he does. And also, he's a wealth of knowledge. He's a man. He's a wealth of knowledge. So I'm really excited about that. And I hope you join us. Neil, Voting Rights Act of 1965 is actually when blacks were allowed to vote in all states. And J.R. Ross is right. Nothing has really changed. And this is 2019. Thanks, Neil. Yeah, Pat. Yes, we were all born into it, and blacks never asked to be put into slavery. So how can you put a group of people into that position and then expect them to compete with others for 3,000 who have, right, exactly. It's cruel, it's sick, and it's barbaric. 100%. That much when they have nothing. Yeah, we've done everything in our human power. I don't think a lot of white folks don't know this because they didn't get to see the history and stuff. They didn't get to learn it because it's been hidden. Like we've been fooled. I have, but they didn't know. But we caused inner city poverty. It was absolutely on purpose. We caused all this stuff, and the way our tax system is, where part of it comes from the infrastructure. So inner cities and places that don't have infrastructure that's being kept up, the schools are really, really bad. I mean, this is all purposeful. This is not an accident. And I think that's probably in the last 10 years, that's what's hit me the hardest. It's not an accident. And people need to understand what sundown towns were. They need to understand what black codes were, what they really were. And segregation, Jim Crow, that wasn't just for buses. That was for everything. And redlining, you couldn't pay to buy a home, get a loan, start a business in an area that had, bustling good infrastructure. Redlining, all this stuff was on purpose. And no, the white folks don't know. JR, thanks for staying with our late bloomers. Thank you. Oh my God, absolutely. These things should really have us questioning the U.S. debt in our country. Absolutely. I just want us to question everything. And again, I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Democrat. I'm a humanist. And all that means is that I want best for all people. And it's a thing. It's not about politics for me. I really can't stand politics, because if you think about it, like politics, it means you're like going to kind of like have one over on somebody. Just be a good person and do the right thing. And I don't need a book for that. I think everybody intrinsically knows in their heart how to be a good person. And you got to be vulnerable. If you're white and you care about your fellow humans, drop your ego at the door. It's not about us. It's not about personal racism. It's a system. We didn't build it. We didn't do anything. But if you see it, and by doing nothing, or God forbid, perpetuating it, we're basically saying, you know, you can't be on the fence with this kind of thing. You're either on the right side of history or you're part of the problem. And I hate to say it, but okay. Thank you, JR. Thank you so much. I'll talk to you in private as well if you want to. Thank you. Pat, everything was designed to keep the black person from achieving. Like they say, you know, so, okay, I'm gonna you're gonna laugh. I'm not into conspiracy theories and all that stuff, but some things really are a conspiracy. And white folks just have been barbaric to black people from the beginning, and to brown people and to indigenous people. And our history has been hidden from us. And for some reason, I would rather have all the bad stuff. I just want to hear about it. I want to know rather than the lies. I can't stand the lies. And God, do I talk a lot. Thank you so much for being here. And please, if you believe like I do that it's way past time for white folks to step up to the plate and start caring about their fellow humans, and our plight is all together. Got to realize that and educate yourself. It's a little bit scary and you'll feel stupid probably, but you know what? You'll survive. But people who are impacted by systemic racism, they might not. They're dying. And we need to stop that. So anyway, that's my big speech of the night. I can't thank you enough. Please, if you know people who would love to be here and possibly come onto the show and have some information to tell me, I do interviews that are not live, Pat, but whites are benefiting from the system. Expect blacks, and that's right. And we're benefiting from it, but we're benefiting from it, but we're still standstill. White folks don't get it. We are being fooled by the elite, by the elites. We are so much closer to the plight of other people and need to unite with them and get this country where it needs to be. So we could go on and on. Neil, don't forget to subscribe. Thanks. You're the best. Don't forget to subscribe to Angry Soccer Mom YouTube homepage. It's free. Yes, it's free. Well, some adults don't, because they don't go on YouTube. When you say subscribe, they're like, what? So I totally get it. So we say it's free. To ask your friends, tell them about the show, encourage them to subscribe and share videos with your friends. Thank you so much. And for people who weren't talking out there, thank you for watching. And honestly, I used to be really, 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 really shy. So don't be shy. I will not embarrass you or humiliate you, and if I do, you can tell me and I will profoundly apologize. Okay? Because I just want us to have a nice conversation, and I just can't thank you enough. This means the world to me. So I hope you come next week and check out some of the videos and tell me what you think. Okay? And don't be afraid to tell me what you think. I'm not going to pounce. No one has to think exactly like me, or else they're in trouble. But I'm just kidding. Thank you so much. And please message me, and I promise I will try to get back to you, even though I'm a little bit slow, but I try. All right? This was absolutely wonderful. Thank you. Good night. Have a great night, you guys. See you online.